Hey, y'all, welcome to Musical Miles Podcast, where live music and great stories take center stage. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Teton Guitars. Whether you're picking tunes around a campfire or taking the stage at your favorite honky tonk, Teton Guitars delivers rich, soulful sound built for the journey. Learn more at tetonguitars.com. Now let's dive into some music and memories. Well, we've talked to so many people. I'm trying to keep all the names straight, right? And I will screw up a name. Gloria is pretty easy, and Anderson's right. That's a tricky one, but no. So you are originally from Texas.
Yes.
Tell me the name of the town again.
I'm from Luling, Texas.
Luling, Texas, which is about an hour
east of San Antonio.
Cool area. We were talking earlier, we were down there this last fall, and of course I've spent a lot of time in Texas over the years, and I just always have been drawn to Texas for lots of reasons. We were involved in the horse world for a lot of years, and so spent a lot of time in the Fort Worth, up around the stockyards and stuff. But which is really cool because Texas has really different music areas. It's kind of segregated, right? You've got that Austin, New Braunfels, San Antonio area, and then you've got the West Texas, Lubbock.
Yes.
Kind of up there in the Panhandle.
Yes, that's true.
And Midland, Odessa, and then you've got Fort Worth, and then maybe even a little bit East Texas. So and even Houston. So.
And when I first met her, she had posted a flyer for the show, and I was at my hometown, Luling, Texas, and I Googled how far the venue was, and it was 9.5 hours away from me.
Yeah. I've been to Dalhart, Texas.
Yes, yeah.
It's not on the way to anywhere.
Nope.
Unless you're on your way to New Mexico or, Colorado or something, because it's a long ways from anywhere. Yeah. That's some big country, but what's cool about it is the music scene is cool in Texas. So let's talk a little bit about your musical journey, if you will, how you kind of got started. Is mom and dad musical at all, or?
So Mom, I feel like she'd be okay if I said this, but Mom was told to sit in the back of the choir loft and not sing. Which I would say is a little silly. But my dad, he actually did grow up playing guitar, and he taught me my first 5 chords on the guitar, got me my first one, and I started out playing his Ibanez, but when I was about 14.
Okay.
And before that, my family, we moved around a lot. My dad was Air Force.
Right.
And as a source of consistency, we were always put in Catholic school, and we had to do an art, and we had to do a sport. And those were our 3 sources of consistency. So I did music as well.
Well, which is great because, music is one, it's a proven fact that if you're into music, you're a lot smarter. I mean, literally, you get better grades if you're into music. You're better students typically. So, so what sport did you do?
Soccer.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah. And your mom said, so your sister's in town here with you?
Yes, she is.
So we're actually, I probably ought to clarify, we're at the Red Lodge at the Songwriter Festival here in Red Lodge, Montana. And we're actually at Yellowstone, at the buses of Yellowstone, the Preservation Trust. This is such a cool building, and it's got so many cool old cars. You notice when you went in the back there,
beautiful.
And the buses, because the buses are what ran the, or what how they got everybody into Yellowstone Park, back in the day. So,
that's awesome.
But anyway, so. Now, is this your first time to Red Lodge?
This is my second time.
Okay.
So last year I did their songwriting competition, the Rocky Mountain Songwriter Comp, which was a blast. I think it's top 15 get in.
Right.
And then I was able to send Mike a CD afterwards, and he invited me back this year to be on the official lineup.
That's awesome. So the way the program works, if I understand it too, is that they also, the winner of the Songwriter Festival gets invited back as a paid, right?
Yes.
Right. So did you win it last year?
I did not.
Didn't win it, but you got invited back as a paid guest anyway, or a paid artist.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It was honestly such a great full circle moment to be able to come back and see people like the venue owners, but also the people who own the boutiques here, and just get to connect with them again and just, make new friends and see old ones. So
and so this festival started 9 years ago. This is the 9th year, but it's June, so we hadn't started the podcast yet. We didn't start until July. But Mike invited us to Livingston, and we went up to Livingston, and we got to interview some artists there. We got to meet James Dean Hicks and interview him, and Stephanie Davis and several other of the artists. And so it was really cool. Kalen Beasley, which is
Yes.
Kalen's a standout here, and of course
awesome.
he's involved in the organization, and so he's been part of the MCing. But so Dad played and got you playing, and you were playing in throughout high school, and then when did you end up deciding to go to Nashville?
So, I went to a private all-girls school in San Antonio, Texas, called Incarnate Word. And my freshman year of high school, my mom was in the front office, and I had to register for an elective. And my choices were like photography or computer or all kinds of different classes like that. And there was a lady in there who was trying to get her her class on the brochure for us to choose from because they had forgotten it. And she was teaching lyric writing.
Oh, wow.
And which is pretty rare for a small school. But she ended up being my mentor for 5 years, and now we write together. But her name's Renee Cole Willis, and she told me about Belmont University in Nashville. Right. She told me about the industry and how you can make a career out of it. And yeah, she really, I adore her. She's great.
Well, you got to meet Abigail, right?
Abigail Comps, yes.
So Abigail, which is now Abigail Oakley.
Yeah.
So when I met her, she was Abigail Comps as well. So I asked her last night, I said, interview her over there, and she told me she went to school in Nashville at Belmont, yes. And got a degree in songwriting, yes. And so she's been there now. I think I'm okay. My alarm went off. Sorry, I'm a diabetic, and I don't know. Well, I can't check it because Anyway, so Abigail went to school and got a degree there, and then somebody else that I interviewed. Jess Chacoy. Do you know Jess?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, she's a sweet girl also, and also went to Belmont and got a degree in songwriting. Yeah. So we got to meet her last year at Livingston as well. Actually, we interviewed her before we got there. She was performing at a little bar called Willie's Distillery in Ennis.
Okay, very cool. Yes. I met her here last year, and then we've played a couple festivals together.
Okay.
And yeah, there's a lot of us Belmont students out here right now. We've got Delaney Ramsdell, Sammy Acola, Summerlin Powers.
So that are all here at the festival.
Yes.
See, and I haven't met very many of them because we've had stuff scheduled, and then it's hard for us to, if we'd have known how it was going to turn out earlier, we'd have come over and watched your show, and we thought anyway. But that's the way it works. So we end up on this side of the game. We miss some things, right? We don't get to see all the artists perform, but nonetheless, it's still cool because we get to sit down and visit, and so. Yeah, I love it. So how long have you been in Nashville then?
I've been there almost 6 years now.
Almost 6 years.
Yes.
You don't look old enough to have been in Nashville for 6 years. Wow.
I'm 24.
Are you really? Wow. Well, so you have a pub deal there?
I'm fully independent right now.
Fully independent, which is one good thing about being independent is when you get those hits, you own them.
True.
You own them. Do you know a kid named Tommy Acker?
I do not know Tommy personally.
So Tommy's been there not very long, but his uncle is a very dear friend of mine. He owns Atwood Hat Company in Texas. Okay. Yes. And so that's Tommy's uncle, Brooks Atwood. And so we got to interview Tommy while we were out there. Also, Mary Heather Hickman. Do you know her?
Not personally either.
Okay. And Caleb Lathrop, all young artists, but Tommy is one of those artists that owns all his publishing. I mean, he's written all his own music. He's now starting. He does have a pub deal, so now he works for a publisher. But when you own that stuff, it makes a big difference when it comes to the payday.
Yes,
right?
And when you finally get your deal, because you're bringing things to the table.
Sure,
it's more of a partnership.
Yeah,
at that point.
Yeah. Instead of them, we're investing in you now for 5 years from now. But it was fun to get to interview, Win Varble, and Win said, "Look, I loved going to work at a publisher." He said, "I got to do what I wanted every day instead of having to go drive a forklift somewhere."
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, that is the dream.
Yeah. So, let's talk about your songwriting process. Do you like to collaborate, or is it pretty? Are you you say you're independent as far as
Business wise
business
and like
wise?
management and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Yes. I love to collaborate
Okay.
with other writers. I've written for other artists over the last 5 years.
Okay.
But I actually first co-wrote when I was like a kid, when I was like 7 or 8 years old, with one of my best friends.
Okay.
And we would sit at the piano together and just bang on the piano and write these little songs together. And her name was also Gloria, which is really weird and
The
weird coincidence.
Glorias.
We called ourselves Gloria Squared, actually.
Gloria squared.
But yeah, so I feel like, I don't know, creating with other people, I just love that
It's been
process.
easy. Yeah.
I definitely would say I think my favorite is two-way rather than, sometimes there's too many cooks in the
Yeah.
kitchen,
Yeah.
you know?
3 or 4 people in a room kind of bouncing ideas. It can get a little noisy maybe inside your head even. Well, for me it would be.
But sometimes it's cool though too, because then all of a sudden someone comes out of left field and says something or sings some melody, and you're like, oh, I would have never thought of that. So
Right.
it just kind of depends on what's going on. And
So have you had any cuts yet?
I have, yes, all independent artists.
Okay.
But I've written for Troubadour Blue, Savannah Burrows, Hannah Noel, Michelle Rayburn, smaller Nashville
Sure,
artists.
sure.
And yeah.
Yeah, she's got some cool music, and I didn't get a chance to really visit with her. I saw her last night, and just said hello, and we visited just briefly. But she's so quirky, and she has some really cute. I mean, this
Yeah.
like I was gonna mow my lawn, but there's dandelions.
dandelions.
Yeah, she's got a dandelion song that's really funny and kind of cute.
She's awesome. I love
Yeah.
how she's one of those writers that you get in the room with and she just sees the world differently.
Yeah.
And she always blows my mind.
Yeah.
She's a really fun person to collaborate with.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, now, as an artist, are you out performing? Are you you're doing the writing rooms, or not the writing rooms, but the writers rounds and open mic stuff in all over Nashville, or
Yes, yeah, I do play a lot of, I would say I play mostly writers rounds in Nashville.
you don't do the Broadway thing?
I have never done the Broadway thing. I've played writers rounds on Broadway, but
Sure.
I've not done the full band cover
Right.
gigs. I just love playing original music,
Sure.
and I feel like Nashville has some really great venues that allow you to do that. So
Well, there's really two worlds there, and I don't think people realize that the songwriter side of the business is very different than the performer side of the business. Although there are songwriters that are performers,
yes,
but most performers that are songwriters that are trying to get record deals are not down on Lower Broadway,
very true.
because those guys are just trying to pay the bills, right? And they're some of them are they play gigs and they want to go out on the road with some of the bigger artists, but it's a very different. They're there to entertain the bachelorette parties.
Yes, the Woo Girls.
The Woo Girls, yeah. Miss Shanda and I were out there, and it was a full-time job keeping her from being the full-time mother to every group of
Yes.
Woo Girls that came along.
Trying to take
she's
care
like,
of 'em.
those guys are bothering those girls.
Yep.
Not my problem. Not my girls.
Yep.
So, but yeah, that's the Woo Girls. I love that. Yeah. So now, what venues do you like to work? Like there's the Bluebird. There's the Listening Room Cafe. We've
Yes.
been to the Listening Room.
Yes, love those.
Have you been out to Franklin much? Have you been to Kimbrough's?
I have been to Kimbrough's. I've not played there before. I did have my EP release show a couple years ago at the Mockingbird Theater, though.
Oh, okay.
And that was a really fun night. That's a cool venue down there.
Yeah, we didn't get to that one. There's so much to do, we just didn't have time to get to all of it. We got to get back out there because we haven't even scratched the surface. Because we also on the podcast like to feature venues.
Yeah.
Because and you didn't hear me do this, but this morning at the bakery, I tell everybody, we think, my opinion is there's 4 parts to this equation: the song, the artist, the venue, and the fan. And
Yeah.
without any one of those, you don't have a full. The equation's missing a critical piece, right? So we we like to think the song, it all begins with the song. And then an artist, whether it's the songwriter that wrote the song or co-wrote the song, but then it goes to an artist that can perform it and at a really cool venue where the fans are, to pay tribute.
Yes.
So
yeah, definitely. I feel like one of my favorite venues in Nashville is there's a show every Saturday called Backstage Nashville. Have you heard of Backstage Nashville?
Where's it?
It's at 3rd and Lindsley, and it is the only daytime hit songwriter show. But I've been working there for about 3 years now, and it's just such a treat. They're so kind because I'll work the show and I'll set everything up and sell merch afterwards, but they let me open the shows that I work.
Oh, cool.
And it's such a great opportunity for people at my level because there is a built-in audience there,
right.
And a lot of them are actually from out of town. So
right.
a lot of tourists come to those shows,
right.
and then they take my merch to whatever cities they're from.
Sure.
And yeah, that's been really awesome. Brittany Easterlin runs that one.
Okay.
And Ray Stevenson.
So Ray Stevenson, so we got to meet, so Joe Leathers. Do you know Joe?
I do not know Joe.
Joe Leathers co-wrote Hemingway's Whiskey with Ray Stevenson and Guy Clark.
Yes.
And Guy Clark cut it.
Yeah.
I love that story. So Joe started it. Like he was in Key West at the Hemingway house. He just toured the house, and then he went out and sat on the bench. I've told this story. People get sick of hearing it, but I just love this story. And he walks out and sits down on the bench in front of the Hemingway house, and there's an old man sitting on the curb, and he's got a basket full of pencils, and he's got a notebook, and a knapsack. And he sits down, and the old man looks over his shoulder at him and goes, "How you doing, son?" He said, "Good." He said, "What are you doing today?" He said, "I just got done touring the Hemingway house." He said, "It's pretty cool, huh?" And they visit for a minute, and he goes, "What about you?" And he says, "Well, I'm just here working on the next great American novel." And he goes, "Really?" And he goes, "Yeah." He says, I've got the main character and some side characters, and it's kind of the plot. It's all kind of laid out. He goes, "Well, how long you been working on it?" He goes, "Well, I got here in 1978. Now, this is like, 10 or 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And so and then he reaches in his knapsack and he pulls out a bottle of whiskey, and he goes, hands it to Joe. He said, "Would you like a drink of whiskey?" And he goes, "No, I'm good." He said, "It's like 10 o'clock in the morning." And the old man goes, "Well, it's Hemingway's whiskey. And if it's good enough for Hemingway, it's good enough for you." So Joe said his head's about to explode. He jumps on his scooter and he goes back to the to the hotel, and he writes the first verse in the chorus, and he calls Ray. And he goes, "Ray, I got this song," and he this idea, and he starts to play it for him. He goes, "Stop. And he goes, "What? I thought it was pretty good." He said, "I think I'm onto something." He goes, "Oh, no, you are. But we're going to finish that with Guy Clark." And he goes, "I don't know Guy Clark." And he goes, Ray says, "I do." And so he set it up. Anyway, so the story goes, then they go and meet with Guy, and Guy finishes. They finish the song. But Guy told him, he said, I want to work on the bridge. He said, and then he said he left it with him. He changed the whole bridge, but then he called him and said, "This is the final project," and then he cut it. And then Chesney cut it.
Yes.
And then named the whole album Hemingway's Whiskey. And then Chris Christopherson cut it. And someone else told me that Chris Stapleton cut it as well. I don't know if he released it, but he recorded it. So, but anyway, what a great story.
Yeah, that's an incredible story. I can't believe I haven't heard all those details.
I can't believe you didn't know. So if you work with Ray.
Yeah. Ray does all the artwork at
And Ray cut it too.
Yes.
Yeah, Ray cut it too. So it's been cut, and you might ask him, I might be wrong on Stapleton, but what? Guy cut it. Yeah, I said Guy cut it in 2009. Kenny cut it in 2015. Okay. And then we got to interview Buddy Cannon, who produced 16 of Kenny's albums.
Wow.
So, and 20 of Willie's.
That's amazing.
So, but anyway, we had a whirlwind trip to Nashville, but we got to get back out there because there's so much more to see and do. But Kimbrough's, but I always ask people that because James Dean Hicks lives in Leaper's Fork, not very far from there, and he says, "I've never been to Kimbrough's."
Yeah.
And Kimbrough's, we got there and we literally sat on the front porch all night because everybody keeps showing up with their guitars and their mandolins, and one guy had a keyboard, and they're literally out on the front porch of this old house just jamming. And
Yeah.
it was the coolest experience I've ever seen.
Yeah, it's so
So,
fun.
yeah.
Sweet.
Anyway, so where else do you like to perform there?
I would say, yeah, the ones you mentioned, Listening Room, Bluebird Cafe, Third and Lindsley. I love the Local. Have you heard of the Local Bar and Grill? So they have a few different kinds of writers' rounds there, but my friend Terry Jo Box hosts a writers' round on Wednesdays and Fridays, and it's called the Music Grow Freak Show.
Okay.
And it is so fun. TJ, she is from Texas as well. She's from Nacogdoches, and she's kind of taken us all under her wing and gives us a good place to play, and it's fun. It's where the locals go. I like to say it's not very touristy, and they have awesome food.
But
there
that's
too.
what I like. I like the local stuff, not the touristy stuff, because you can go down to Lower Broad and it's just too much. It's sensory overload. But you go to places like that. And even the Listening Room Cafe is just, it's cool because we got to see Leslie Satcher play there, and she was here last year.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but so what you working on? You working on an album?
Yes. So I actually did a crowdfunding platform in March,
Okay.
And fully funded a record. And I've been in the studio with Tammy Rogers and Jeff King. I'm not
Okay.
sure if you're familiar with
No.
them. So Tammy is a part of the Steel Drivers.
Oh.
And then Jeff has played for Brooks and Dunn, and he's on the road with Rebo right now. They're just incredible mentors and
Cool.
musicians in the industry. So it's been an honor to be able to work with them. But we cut 10 songs in their at-home studio, and we're going in for some overdubs next week and to get some mixing and mastering done.
And so what's your plan? Are you going to release this single at a time? Because we talked about this with Kaylin yesterday, because Kaylin's got a new album out.
Yeah.
And his first single, I think, is getting released June 29th. So
Very cool. Yeah. I feel like releasing music right now is kind of the Wild West, honestly, just because of how all the different streaming platforms are working nowadays. But I'm gonna hopefully not just like shoot my music out into the abyss. I'm trying to do some kind of marketing plan to where you can roll out at least, unfortunately, like half the album, and then once the actual album releases, you get those 5 songs. Some people, can release 2 singles and then release 8 songs, and everyone will listen to it. But just because I'm an upcoming writer right now and I'm trying to slowly build my audience, it just makes more sense to be consistent, rather than just throwing it all out.
Well, like Kaylin says, look, everybody's time is precious. And so it's easier to get your attention for 4 minutes than it is for 40 minutes.
Yes.
45 minutes.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah, and I never thought of it that way, but the reality of it is just we're all competing. We're competing for everybody's time. The podcast is, I want to listen to your music, but I also listen to other podcasts, and Miss Shanna's listening. We're always listening to something, and so it's a. And I'm trying to remember how many even just podcasts there are out there, like 1.8 million or something, but not very many of them make it past 7 episodes.
Yeah.
So, and we're way past that, so we should be good. So, I think the big challenge is, back in the day when your mom and dad were, young like us, you'd go to town, you'd buy an album, because that's the only way you could get it. You had to buy the whole album. Even if there was only one song on the album you liked, right? You bought it because that was the only option you had. Well, now with streaming platforms, I just pay the $9.95 a month, and which sucks because it pays you 0.0032 cents per stream. It's just ridiculous.
The game of pennies.
And it is the game of pennies. And it's okay when those songs are streaming, 50 million times, that adds up. But when they stream 5,000 times, it takes a lot of streams. And so we tell everybody, that will listen to us, stream as much as you can, as often as you can, but then go to the shows, buy a ticket, and buy the merch.
Absolutely.
And put $20 in a tip bucket. That never killed anybody.
That is so true. I feel like the biggest way to make, to grow in the industry right now and make an impact and, run your business is selling tickets nowadays, because, you know, a lot of people, they'll be online and they'll go viral on TikTok, but if you can't sell ticket sales and get people to fill rooms, that's the hard part. That's the challenge.
Well, and I wonder, you know, we've talked about this with a lot of different artists. I wonder at how long the lifespan of some of those artists will be. You know, Zach Bryan, who just blew up, but is kind of slowly disappeared a little bit lately. But you know, you've got some artists like Baker Blankenship. Do you know that kid?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's 19 years old. He's headlining a major show he's on bills all over the place. But he blew up online. But I guess if he's drawn him in, I guess he's done his job, right?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. But there's not. But those opportunities are there for everybody, right? Mm-hmm. You get the right song and you get the right.
Yeah, I think the right songs always get heard. I think the song speaks the most out of anything. So.
Sure.
At least that's what I hope.
Sure. Well, cool. Well, we appreciate you taking time. You know, this is always such a challenge to get everybody to, you know, slow down long enough to sit down with us and have a quick visit.
Thanks for having me.
But and it's always fun to get to meet new artists and get to learn and listen to your music. And unfortunately, when we get here, we don't know who we're going to get to talk to, and we don't always know. So if we have, I try and schedule stuff. Mm-hmm. So then I try and prepare. Yeah. I'm not as prepared to visit with you today as I wish I would have been, but I was a little more prepared than I thought I was going to be. But anyway, grab that Teton guitar and play me a song. This is a company that is right there in Idaho, and they give us these guitars, and we have everybody play us a song, and then they autograph it for them.
Amazing.
For us. This is the 5th one we filled up with autographs. This had no ink on it yesterday.
Incredible.
So
let's see.
So what are you gonna play for us?
Well, I'm gonna play a song. I actually just recorded this for that record.
Oh, fun!
And I wrote this with Daniel Kim Etheridge and Mara Strepa, and it's called "A Little Bit of Cowboy."
All right, like it.
It ain't no rodeo, disco ball, and red dirt show. Broken hearts and dreams, just to let 'em go. It ain't the 7-figure horses no one dares to ride. It ain't the brand new F-250s, clean leather inside. It ain't all pretty white houses on 1,000-acre lots. Ain't all old family names that get you what you got. It ain't all lows and highs. It ain't all highs and lows. And I don't know everything, but this much I know. It's little boys stomping round in their daddy's boots, saying through a missing tooth, I wanna be like you. It's falling down, it's getting up a couple million times, and it's praying to the good Lord he somehow reads 'em right. If life is just holding on through your first rodeo, then there's a little bit of cowboy in everyone knows. Sometimes it's picking up that extra shift that breaks your back to come home to a double wide frozen dinner that you zap. Yeah, you've got another hour till the sun and those kids rise, so you take that extra time, do your best to just be fine. It's a mother's arm shaking while she rocks her child to sleep. It's the solace that she finds in those moments of peace. It's falling down, it's getting up a couple million times, and it's praying to the good Lord he somehow raise 'em right. If life is just holding on through your first rodeo, then there's a little bit of cowboy in everyone knows. ain't all high praise. It's waking up each morning and choosing to be brave. It's all the little things that no one ever sees. Yeah, we ain't all that different, John Wayne and you and me. 'Cause it's a little girl stomping around in her daddy's boots, saying through a missing tooth, I wanna be like you. It's falling down, it's getting up a couple million times, and it's praying to the good Lord you somehow raise them right. If life is just holding on through your first rodeo, then there's a little bit of cowboy in everyone you know. If life is just holding on through your first rodeo, then there's a little bit of cowboy in everyone you know.
Oh, yeah. That's awesome. That is a great song. Put your signature on there for me, if you would, please. Yeah, that is so cool. Yeah, my grandkids call me Cowboy.
They do? Yeah. That is so sweet.
Yeah, yeah. So where do they find your music?
So I have stuff out on everything. Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, and it's just Gloria Anderson Music on everything. That's my Instagram, Facebook, website.
Perfect.
Yeah, okay. I made it pretty easy peasy.
Well, yeah. It's when it's easy, it's a lot. Sometimes people make it hard, and some artists make it's different on every format, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. So, well, listen. Well, thank you again for joining us. This has been fun. It's fun to meet your folks, and we look forward to following your career, and hopefully we'll get to see you when we come to Nashville next time.
Yes, give me a holler.
Maybe you'll be on the Opry. We'll come and watch you at the Bluebird. How's that?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we haven't been to the Bluebird yet. It was closed when we were there,
you'll have to.
But we've got to get back out there. But anyway, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of your time here in Montana. When do you guys fly home? Tomorrow, yeah. Yeah, we got to get up early in the morning and head home back to Idaho. So anyway, hey, for Musical Miles Podcast, I'm your host, Byron Duffin, here with Miss Gloria Anderson. We're in Red Lodge, Montana. Thank you again, Yellowstone Preservation Trust, the buses of Yellowstone Preservation Trust. What a cool building, what a cool place. Thank you again. We'll see you somewhere down the road. Adios for now.